Welcome to the Injury Report, where we recap the injuries racked up by your favorite horror villains. Villains in horror movies are notorious for their ability to withstand a great deal of damage. Things that would absolutely destroy a regular person can be easily shrugged off if you're a machete-wielding madman. One of the poster boys for this phenomenon is Jason Voorhees from the Friday the 13th films. I'm Griff Robodanger, and in my last injury report, I took a look at Friday the 13th parts 2 through 4, up until his mortal death at the hands of Tommy Jarvis. Now, we'll be looking at what I call Jason's Undead Trilogy, Friday the 13th part 6, 7, and 8. In this video, I'm going to look at all the various injuries, accidents, and wounds that zombie Jason suffers over the course of these films, and see exactly how unkillable Jason really is. What, if any, effect do these attacks have on a supernatural killer who just spent close to a decade as a carcass? When we last left Jason Voorhees, he was getting his head split almost in half by young Tommy Jarvis. At the start of Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives, Jason is dead and buried. He's so dead his flesh is rotting and maggots are using his corpse as a buffet. But not for long, as a now adult Tommy Jarvis has returned to dig up Jason and destroy him for good. So Tommy stabs Jason's body with a fence post. The fence post gets struck by lightning, and the electricity reanimates Jason's corpse so he can return to his killing ways. And also so he can rack up the following injuries. Jason is kabonged in the back of the head with a shovel. Jason is hit so hard the shovel actually breaks, but it does nothing to Jason except get his attention. Jason is shot in the chest 5 times with a revolver. The bullets go right through Jason's body and he doesn't seem to notice. Jason is blasted 3 times with a shotgun. Each shot knocks Jason onto the ground, but he only stays down for a matter of seconds each time. Jason is shot in the forehead with the sheriff's handgun. The shot leaves a hole in Jason's mask, and Jason's head whips back from the impact, but he quickly recovers. I also want to note that the sheriff fires off 3 shots before this, but it's unclear if any of these shots land, so I'm not including them. The sheriff tackles Jason, then stomps on Jason's back, then kicks him in the sides. These attacks don't do a lot of damage, but they keep Jason on the ground and keep him from killing Megan, which was the sheriff's goal. The sheriff clobbers Jason in the left shoulder with a large stick from a tree. The stick is pretty much like a wooden baseball bat, and the impact breaks the wood in 2 and knocks Jason down. For a moment, the sheriff smashes Jason in the face twice with a large rock, then swings the rock 2 more times across Jason's head. The mask pretty much protects Jason's face from becoming a pile of mush. Jason catches on fire as he emerges from the burning lake. Jason seems completely unfazed by the fact that he's on fire. A chain noose is put around Jason's neck as he's sunk to the bottom of the lake. Then, Jason's lower face and neck are ground to pieces by a boat propeller. We see several chunks of mystery flesh being shredded from Jason's already scuffed body. The propeller is hitting Jason at the bottom of his mask, so it's likely he's taking serious damage in the chin and neck region. Jason remains chained to the bottom of the lake until Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, when Tina Shepard, a teenage girl with telekinetic powers, accidentally brings Jason back to life while trying to use her powers to bring her dead father back to life, who is also at the bottom of the lake. Tina will later use those same telekinetic powers to attack Jason by making tree branches wrap around Jason's leg and slam him face first into a puddle. While Jason stands in the puddle, Tina drops a power line into the puddle, electrocuting Jason. Despite the fact electricity is what brought Jason back to life in the last film, it seems electrocution is effective at temporarily knocking Jason out. Tina sends a sofa flying into Jason's face and chest. A potted plant holding a human head is launched into Jason's face. Each of these attacks has enough force to knock Jason down, but only for a few moments. Tina makes the roof of the porch collapse onto Jason, burying him in debris. It's smart to try to trap Jason since he's impossible to kill, but Jason simply punches through the roof to unbury himself. Tina swings a light fixture into Jason's face, which causes him to fall through the stairs. Honestly, not a big deal. I've seen worse falls in pro wrestling matches. Tina makes the straps on Jason's mask constrict and crush his head. This attack seems to actually hurt Jason, as his head is being slowly crushed by the pressure of these tightening leather straps. The pressure is so strong, it actually snaps Jason's mask in half, unmasking Jason for the first time in the film. Jason is choked and hanged with a loose power line, then released and dropped through the floor into the basement. You'd think that, despite being zombified, this drop would break Jason's legs. I mean, dead or not, those are still human bones in there, and there's less meat to protect them now. But he's back on his feet before no time. Tina sends a box of nails flying at Jason. Most of them stick into Jason's chest, but one nails Jason in the forehead. This seems to mainly piss him off. Tina douses Jason with gasoline, then lights up Jason with a huge burst of flames from the furnace. Jason's entire body goes up in flames. He walks around like this for a bit until collapsing, but apparently he gets up just in time to escape the house before it explodes. Nick shoots Jason in the upper chest 3 times with a handgun. It's about as effective as the revolver shots in the last film. Tina's zombie dad chokes Jason with a heavy chain and drags him underwater. This takes Jason out of action for the rest of Part 7. We learn in Part 8 that Tina's dad sort of wrapped Jason up with the chains and buried him under the debris of the fallen dock. I guess Jason's reanimation magic has run out again, as he just seems weirdly frozen in place underwater. I also have to ask, how is his body still down there? That's barely off the shore. Surely, when all those police were at the crime scene at the end of Part 7, picking up the victims and whatnot, you'd think somebody would have tried to retrieve Jason's body. Okay, so what is with the Crystal Lake police and their inability to find dead people in this lake? They couldn't find Jason when he first drowned as a kid down there. They never found Tina's dad when he drowned. Honestly, it seems like Crystal Lake is the perfect place to dump dead bodies if you're a killer in the area, because the police just can't deal with it. But getting back on topic, Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, begins with Jason buried under all that debris. He's brought back to life once again by electricity, this time in the form of a boat anchor damaging an underwater power cable, which I doubt would exist in a body of water the size of Crystal Lake, but I digress. Rennie stabs Jason in the eye with a fountain pen. Well, technically, he's stabbed in the eye socket because he doesn't really have an eye on that side any longer. Despite this, the injury momentarily stops Jason from attacking Rennie, allowing her to escape. Jason is shot several times in the chest and arm by a gang member. The gang member gets off 6 shots, but we only see 3 of them land, 2 in Jason's torso and 1 in Jason's right arm. It's quite possible the other shots landed, but I don't know for sure because the camera stays on the shooter during these rounds. Jason is punched repeatedly in the face and body by Julius. I counted 25 punches to Jason's face and 32 punches to Jason's body, although the face punches seem kinda pointless since Jason is wearing a mask designed to stop fast-moving projectiles, and punching said mask would probably do more damage to your fists than Jason's face. Jason is run over with a police car. The initial impact seems to hit Jason right about the kneecap area. He's thrown across the hood of the vehicle before taking a spill under the ground, where he remains for a few minutes before resuming his killing spree. Jason takes a fall when the train's emergency brake is pulled. A mild inconvenience for Jason, which probably just pissed him off more than anything. Jason is tackled onto the subway track, which electrocutes him. The third rail of the New York City subway system, which provides power to the trains, requires 600 to 650 volts. While some have miraculously survived contact with the third rail, the amount of time Jason is electrocuted on this rail would easily kill any mortal. The voltage causes Jason's body to convulse, and he even catches on fire. He's literally smoking. Although it's still kind of weird to me that electricity has this much of an effect on Jason, considering it's what's brought him back to life in 2 of these movies, including this exact movie. Rennie throws a canister of toxic waste into Jason's face. I don't know why there are barrels of toxic waste in the sewer, and I don't know how Rennie managed to throw it in Jason's face without getting any splashed on her, but the attack is super effective. The toxic waste essentially behaves like a corrosive acid. It instantly starts melting away Jason's already putrid skin. Jason is so out of sorts, he begins stumbling around like a drunk. It's rare to see Jason this affected by something in this undead era. Jason is engulfed by a flood of toxic sewage. I don't know what's going on with the New York City sewer system, because Jason just starts to fall apart when this sewer water touches him. Flaps of skin just start falling off of his face. It's almost as if his skull starts to instantly disintegrate from within. Okay, I'm sorry, what are you New Yorkers eating that your poop water can melt zombies? Also, the water seems to magically turn Jason back into a little boy or something, but I prefer to think of this whole scene as just another of Rennie's hallucinations, brought on by a combination of stress and inhaling toxic sewer fumes. Before I do the final rundown, I want to mention all the risky things Jason does that should lead to injuries and should not be attempted by anyone, dead or alive. Things like jumping out of really tall trees, causing an RV to crash while he's still inside of it, Kool-Aid Man through a wooden door, smashing through a window, punching through walls, leaping through windows, punching through a collapsed roof, Kool-Aid Man through the wall, headbutting portholes, reaching through broken portholes, walking through glass doors, Kool-Aid Man through another wall. So here's the final rundown of Jason's injuries from this trio of films. Jason is hit with a shovel, shot 5 times in the chest with a revolver, shot 3 times with a shotgun, shot in the forehead with a revolver, tackled, stomped, kicked, hit with a tree branch, smashed in the face with a rock, caught on fire, dragged underwater by a chain noose, propellered in the face and neck, slammed by tree branches, electrocuted, hit by a couch, hit by a potted plant, buried under a roof, smashed with a light bulb, dropped through stairs, crushed by a mask, choked and hanged, dropped into the basement, pierced by nails, engulfed in flames, shot 3 times with a handgun, choked with a chain, stabbed in the eye, shot 3 more times, punched 57 times, run over with a car, forced to fall, tackled onto a subway track, electrocuted again, toxic wasted, and drowned in polluted sewage. And there it is, the damage sustained by zombie Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th parts 6 through 8. So thanks for watching this episode of Injury Report. I plan on covering the rest of the Jason films for this series, although I'm still deciding how I want to handle those films, so while I'm figuring that out, I may bounce over to another franchise for the next Injury Report, maybe Michael Myers. Be sure to subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on those videos when they come out. And for now, here's some other videos you might enjoy. And until next time, later Danger Seekers.